Thank you, Mr. Denton. Thank you for your patience, friends, as we get all of our speechers ready here. We have a few announcements to start here, and then we'll get ready for our Voice and Vision speeches for today. Ms. Balcazar, I believe, has a couple announcements. There she is. Oh.
Good morning, everyone. Friends, we are in a challenging world. We are aware of that. And in the light of the current events, some of you might be aware there have been two situations involving two of our minority groups. One was in Buffalo a couple of days ago, and another event in Los Angeles. So tomorrow, the DEI office is offering a space to discuss, to process, to learn. This is going to be happening tomorrow during lunch time. We are going to be meeting in the North Building terrace, so right outside of the building, on the other side of the portico. Mrs. Stratton and I will be offering that space for all of you who want to listen, who want to discuss. You will be getting an email from me in a couple of minutes in preparation for tomorrow. And I understand this involves a lot of emotions, a lot of thoughts. I'm going to ask you to start reflecting about your words, whatever is in your heart, in your mind, and think about one word or a short sentence that you would like to share with us tomorrow, okay? We will have a couple of activities, so please bring a pencil or a pen, and we will have a journaling activity as well.
So, Ms. Balcazar,
Yep.
Pencil, pen, paper?
We have paper.
Okay.
Yep,
Pencil,
we have all the
pen,
materials.
lunch,
yep.
And where, one more time?
In the North Building terrace tomorrow during lunchtime.
Excellent. Thank you so much for offering that. Appreciate it. Nissa is up next.
Okay. So Friday is my Garba night, and if you're planning to stay the whole time, you do not need to sign into aftercare. And along with my Garba night, there's an Pt.2 movie night that's going to be held from 6 to 8 in the BMS dining hall. There will be snacks and other activities that highlight the Pt.2 cultures.
Thank you. Just to clarify, those two events are going back to back. One of them, you don't have to sign in. It's free. You come for Nissa's Garba night. There'll be food, dancing, music, henna, tattoos, right, or hand painting. And then you just get picked up after that. The event ends at 6 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock. You go get picked up normally, make the arrangements with your guardians to be there. If you are staying for the Pt.2 movie night, which starts at 6 o'clock, that is a family event. We are not offering any supervision for that. It is also free, but you need to come with a family member, an adult family member, okay? So lots of fun things happening. Impact testing, please read Ms. Stratton's emails about when you are having impact testing. Your parents need to have signed an online form. Impact testing is just a baseline little test you do on a computer so we can see reaction time, memory, etc., so that if you were to have a head injury at some point, like in an athletic competition, we can test you and see, wow, does this person have a concussion or not, okay? So it takes about 30 minutes to complete. It's going to be in one of your study halls. Make sure your parents sign the form, and then you'll know when it is because Ms. Stratton has sent wonderful emails about it. Last piece for me, hypothetically, if there were to be a fire drill in the next few days, and our last fire drill of the year, I just wanted to remind you of a couple of things. One is you move quickly and quietly to the nearest exit. Your teacher will help you find that. You don't want to be walking through hallways and stairways to go to some other exit. Get yourself to the nearest exit. You are staying quiet the entire time you're leaving the building and heading out to the field, lining up in alphabetical order by last name and staying quiet. Did I mention you have to stay quiet? And that's very important because we need to be able to take roll, give instructions, etc. Okay? So thank you so much for that. And if you have questions, you can certainly find your advisor or me at any time. Are you ready for some more speeches? Yay. Grace Gonzalez is up first.
My name is Grace Gonzalez, and for my seminar project, I'm working on stress relief and golf. When I first started my seminar project, I didn't know what to do. I thought about doing something about siblings, but then realized my passion for golf and how I can help others with stress relief. Stress can be a very hard thing to handle, but sports can help. Exercise is very good for your body, both physically and mentally. According to WebMD, exercise causes your body to release endorphins, the chemicals in your brain that relieve pain and stress. It also reduces the levels of stress hormones, cortisol, and adrenaline. Studies have shown that 20 to 30 minutes of exercise each day can make people feel calmer. This can make stress an easier thing to relieve. I started golf around the age of 7, and it first started just to be a fun activity after school, but soon turned into a way to relieve stress. I remember always being excited to see my golf friends after a long day of school, and whatever was stressing me out would soon go away after playing. This made me realize that I should do a golf clinic. In the beginning, I didn't know who, when, and how I would do the golf clinic. That's when we started researching in class. After researching stress relief and golf, I came up with the idea to do a golf clinic for lower school students because they would be more likely to start having stress. According to Golfing Focus, it is felt that kids need to be a bit older, 5 to 9 years old, before they are ready to start playing golf, which helped me with the decision of doing a golf clinic for 4th grade. When I was researching, I first talked to Marge Klein, who was the golf coach here at Bryn Mawr, and she said that it would be a good idea and invited me to a small clinic that she had already started. When I went to the clinic, I was able to help some of the younger kids there and talk to a girl named Grace Hine. Grace was at the age of 9 and played many sports such as golf, soccer, and gymnastics. When I talked to her and asked her about stress, she told me how she did have a lot of stress, but after she played sports, she was able to have fun and calm down from the day. The rest of the kids I interviewed told me about the same things and how they were able to have fun and calm down from the day, and how after they played, they didn't want to stop playing. Talking to Grace and the other kids strengthened the idea to have a golf clinic with the kids in 4th grade here at Bryn Mawr. That's when I started to think about the fundamentals of the golf clinic. I had to think about where the golf clubs would come from, when it would be, where it could be, and what I would even do. I emailed Miss Venice, who is the director of the lower school, and asked her some questions, and she told me that it would be a good idea if I asked Miss Davis, who is the physical education teacher for lower school. I reached out to Miss Davis and asked in the first week of May if I could do a golf clinic, since the golf season would be over and Coach March could help out. When we planned a time during class, I did the clinic and I had everything set. When I had my golf clinic, I told them how it could help them relieve stress and also set up an area where they could chip to a Velcro target. At the end, I asked how it was and said it was able to calm them down and have fun. Miss Davis also asked me where she could buy the clubs and she could maybe have a golf unit for the lower school. Throughout the whole journey of my seminar project, I learned a lot about setting goals and setting dates. I realized it is always important to have a backup plan and always be prepared for the unexpected. Thank you.
Right now, think about something, could be a sport, an activity, or just about anything that has benefited you further than just during that activity. For me, it's lacrosse. My name is Violet Brooks, and for my seminar project, I created a lacrosse clinic for lower school students from Bryn Mawr and elementary school students from Roland Park Elementary School. I've been playing lacrosse since I was about 3 years old, and to me, it is the best way to clear my head and reset after school. I wanted to teach these 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders how lacrosse has really helped me and get them started on something they could end up loving. My ultimate goal was to show them at a young age how lacrosse and sports can not only be beneficial to their health, but also improve teamwork, help with focus, and create a positive mindset. While doing research, I learned that playing such an avid sport can help with time management and overall increase both academic and physical performance. I wanted to give them a view into how lacrosse works and coach them on some of the basic skills like throwing, catching, and scooping ground balls, while also incorporating some fun activities that would keep them engaged. I chose to host Roland Park Elementary School and Bryn Mawr students so that they could learn to work with people they didn't know as well and create a team-like environment. I thought that having a mix of public school and private school students would be a good way to implement this idea, and combining them would be a fun way for them to get to know each other. I decided that coaching some kids that may not have as much access to the resources Bryn Mawr has around would be a way to reach more people and teach them about the benefits of lacrosse.
Oh my gosh, look at those throws! Ready? 1, 2, 3, lacrosse!
turnout wasn't as big as I'd first planned for. 7 kids came, so it was a little harder to execute my idea, but in the end, it taught me how work doesn't always pay off exactly how you first envisioned it. I learned a lot about communication with adults I didn't know that well, and figured out ways to work around their job schedules to see when meeting would work best for all of us. There was a lot of planning put into the clinic, so figuring out the logistics was the hardest part, but it all worked out. A big thank you to Coach Wolf for everything she did and working with me to create a super fun clinic. At the beginning of seminar class, I was unsure what I would create, and I didn't know what I was passionate about that could make a change for someone else too. But after a few classes, I finally decided that a lacrosse clinic would be the best option for me because I would be passionate about it and it could help multiple people learn something new and fun. This was a really valuable experience that will continue to help me in the future, and I loved getting to know a few budding lacrosse players and teach them fun things. One of the girls' moms actually reached out to me and asked if I could coach her daughter in the future because my clinic helped at her game. This really made my project feel real and showed me that I helped someone. I really enjoyed working with them and coaching kids that wanted to learn. I hope that this will help me in the future when trying to show someone else how to play lacrosse, and my biggest goal is that the kids who came will continue playing lacrosse and keep trying new things. Thank you to everyone that helped out.
It was 2018, and I was in the 5th grade when I was diagnosed with mild dyslexia. My mom took me to get tested, not for COVID or the flu, but for a learning disability. I begged my mom not to go, but she bribed me with Chick-fil-A. After around 6 hours of testing, I got my diagnosis. At the time, I thought it was the end of the world, and my life would never be the same. I didn't know what dyslexia was. All I thought it meant was my brain was different from everyone else, and that I would have to start seeing a tutor. I insisted on never using my extra time or telling my friends until one day in 6th grade. I remember telling them after I wasn't able to finish my history test, but they didn't know what dyslexia was. No one did. Okay. My name is Evie Berg, and in defense of my hair in the 5th grade school picture, I had just had PE, so don't judge me. So what did you expect? Just kidding. For my seminar project, I decided to teach children what dyslexia and other learning disabilities are, so they never feel less than or alone like I did. I realized it was important for me that children are aware of learning disabilities such as dyslexia and how it affects people and they can still be successful and intelligent. Dyslexia is a learning disability that affects reading, writing, and other aspects of learning. In an article by GEM Research, I discovered that when most 6 to 7-year-olds are diagnosed with dyslexia, their confidence lowers, just as mine had in lower school. And I knew exactly how to reach them, a children's book. I wrote a hardcover children's book about 3 friends, one of which has dyslexia. After a test, 2 of the friends come out to recess and realize that their other friend is missing. They ask all around the playground, and after asking each kid where their friend might be, they find her taking extra time, and she explains a little bit about dyslexia. The first step to making my book and was interviewing the specialists and a client. I interviewed Ms. Hunter Hanley, the Bryn Mawr Lower School reading specialist, Dr. Monique Burke, a pediatrician and mother, Ms. Lydia Mason, the Bryn Mawr Lower School librarian, and later Dr. Christine Riley, a pediatrician. I asked them their opinion on the book, and each of their responses made me even more confident in the importance of my book. In my interview with Dr. Riley, she says, dyslexia affects not only how they perform in school, but how they see themselves as students. And so it's very important to us to have a really good education in terms of what dyslexia is and what it means. Next, I emailed illustrators who had volunteered to help me out, and Maya Henry to ask for printing advice. But we started running out of time, and the illustrators couldn't finish all the work in such little free time. I didn't want to put anyone under pressure, so I texted them to let them know I needed to go in a different direction. Instead, I decided to use an online service for free, whose images were much less intricate, but I knew it was the right thing to do. So there's the picture of the ones my friend made, and then there's the one that the online service made. And then over my Easter break, I worked hard designing my book and creating all the illustrations that would appear in it. I used Canva for layout and Shutterfly for printing, as Maya Henry had advised me. The book I had designed, wrote, and worked on so hard is now a reality. I made something real. All that was left to do was to give it to my someone real. On Tuesday, May 3rd, I got the chance to read to Miss Hanley's 2nd grade class. The students were engaged and excited to hear my book. I got the chance to explain a little bit about the learning disability and dyslexia. I had so much fun, and they were such an amazing audience. They asked about dyslexia and the learning disability. They asked wonderful questions, and by the end of they had basic knowledge of the learning disability. After completing the activity I designed for them, they even wrote me thank you notes. I'm so proud of my hard work and effort, and knowing that Ms. Hanley's second grade class now has an understanding of dyslexia, that makes it all worth it. Thanks to my friends, teachers, listeners, and family members and supporters for making this possible. Thank you, middle school.
Good morning. My name is Caitlin Navaleza, and for my seminar project, I brought a group of middle school musicians to Keswick Retirement Home to perform. When I first started taking this class in January, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I started brainstorming and thought about what I loved. I immediately thought of music because I have played the piano almost all of my life. I knew that listening to music was also something that I enjoyed because it could help me focus and could improve my mood if I was feeling down. So I started researching the benefits of playing and listening to music. In my research, I learned that playing music not only increases focus, but also brain function. The College Entrance Examination Board found that students who play an instrument can score up to 107 points higher on the SATs than those who don't play one. But I also learned that just listening to music has its own benefits. For example, it decreases fatigue, boosts energy and productivity, and improves someone's mood. Here, you can see how much more active the brain is after listening to music. However, I soon realized that I didn't just want to educate others about music. I wanted to bring that music to them. I first thought about hosting a performance for Bryn Mawr musicians to showcase their talent, but I wanted to do something outside of my own community. I recalled how my grandparents have always loved hearing me play the piano, so I started researching how music can benefit the elderly. I learned from HRSA that 43% of older adults experience daily loneliness, and that can increase their mortality rate by 45%. And with the pandemic, I thought about how that number could be even higher. I knew I wanted to change that, so I reached out to Keswick, a local retirement home. I knew that Keswick had partnered with Bryn Mawr before, so I figured contacting them would be easy. I first reached out to an email on their website, but I got no response, so I tried again, and still nothing. A month had passed when I finally called them, and to my surprise, I got an answer and I was put on the phone with the director of activities. I told her my idea and she seemed interested, but we would have to wait to plan it because of COVID. I called back a few weeks later and she gave me a date and a time. She explained how we would have to perform in smaller groups due to COVID, so I continued my research, interviewing fellow classmates, experts, and my own piano teacher, who also gave me some tips on how to put on a performance. I gathered students to perform, arranged for a minibus, and asked Mr. Branch to drive us there and chaperone. I also had to send out permission slips so that students could come to Keswick during the school day, and I arranged for a rehearsal to make sure everyone was prepared. When we finally performed at Keswick, all of the residents loved it. Even though our audience was small, we could feel how happy they were. They were amazed by our musical skills and asked many questions, curious about our lives. Many bopped their heads to the music, and some were brought to tears. Throughout seminar, I've learned many important skills, including public speaking, both professionalism and persistence in phone calls and emails, and how to engage an audience. If I had another year to work on this project, I would definitely plan more performances. Maybe they could be a monthly activity. I'm so proud of how my seminar journey turned out, and I appreciate everyone who made my project possible. It was an incredible experience, and I loved bringing a little joy to the residents' lives. Thank you.
Woohoo! There they are. That was just phenomenal. Can we give them another hand? I'm so proud of you all. And in recognition of all of your hard work this year, Grace Gonzalez for your golf clinic. Thank you. Violet Brooks for your lacrosse clinic. Evie Burke, bringing awareness about dyslexia to younger students. And Caitlin Navaleza for your Keswick performance. Thank you. Thank you, friends, for once again being an excellent audience. We will meet back here next week. This concludes our speeches for this week. You all can head off to class. Have a great afternoon.